What's going on? Welcome to Make Money Moves podcast. You know, the podcast we make money move by making money move. Here, we're in episode 2, and today we're going to be talking about the lie that we were all sold about success. And we know the game is to be sold and not told about success. The core promises of this episode is that you don't need more motivation, because what you really need is a more accurate definition of what success is. So let's get to it and let's make money moves.
Pay to a check, yeah, I changed my mind. From broke to boss, now I'm on my grind. Mic in my hand, I'm claiming my time. Make money moves, podcast my line. I changed from inside. Now I shine.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Make Money Moves podcast. I'm your host, Al, and today we're going to be talking about some things that's going to be disturbing, it's going to hurt some feelings, but it's going to be necessary. And that is the belief that sounds responsible, but is it really? Most of us grew up believing the same thing. I know in my household, you heard things like, if you just make more money, everything will be fine. Get a good job, you'll be good. That belief sounds logical. It sounds responsible. It sounds like it makes sense. It sounds like being an adult. But just because that sounds like it makes sense, don't mean it makes sense. And when it don't make sense, it don't make sense. And cents make dollars. So if it's not making money, it's not making sense. That belief for a while, it kind of worked, which forced us into that thought that it was going to make sense. Because when we made more money, what happened? Paying the bills got a little bit easier. Our choices got a little bit more array. We can get better choices on the things that we got. We can feel a little bit more relief. But let me ask you something uncomfortable. If more money was the answer, so why do so many people who make a lot of money still feel stuck? Riddle me that, Batman. They still stressed, they still tired, and they're still one disruption away from going into panic mode or having a panic attack and just falling out. But what if that belief isn't what's wrong? What if it's just incomplete? See, we weren't given the whole story. Because today, we're not talking about being lazy. No, not at all. Not at all. We're talking about discipline. We're talking about the definition of success that you were handed and why it's quietly working against you opposed to working for you. Now, we can earn more and repeat. That's the story of life. Earn more money, repeat. Do something, earn more money, repeat. Well, America is exceptionally good at teaching one thing: earn more. We have coined it: earn more, make more, do better. We celebrate promotions, we praise long hours, we glorify the grind culture, and we applaud exhaustion as ambition. And that message is, if we're stressed, the answer is get more income, make more money. I know that the Bible says money answers all things, but that's actually money answers all things when you use it correctly. But notice this, what rarely gets discussed is what happens after we get that raise. How our lifestyle began to expand invisibly. How expectations rise faster than our peace do. How responsibilities begin to multiply. We got more and more responsibilities. Why is that? Even our freedom stays just out of reach. We close enough to taste it, to smell it, but we can't touch it because freedom is just out of our reach. Why is that? No one tells us that income comes with gravity. The more you earn, the more that pulls on you. Biggie said it best. The more money we come across, the more problems we have. Now, that's not to say money's bad, but the more problems we have is because of our own commitments. We make bigger commitments. We create bigger timelines. We have higher fixed costs, but we have less room for error. Think about that for a minute. Did all this, but I got less room for error, made more money. So even when our income grows, our freedom doesn't. That don't seem like it makes sense. Not at all. But that's how people end up successful on paper, but exhausted in real life. You know, they finally get that raise that changed into nothing. You say, if I get this raise, it's going to change my life, but it really just changed into nothing. You've seen this. Hell, you probably lived it. I know I have personally. You know, we finally get the job that we always hit our eyes on. New job, new salary, and we finally feel like we're progressing. We're making some headroom in life. So we begin to upgrade. We get things like a bigger apartment. We go get a nicer car. We call them our toys. More convenience. We need everything brought to us. more subscriptions. And we say, I need more because I deserve this. I worked hard for this. And none of this, not one single thing, feels reckless. It always feels earned.
What if shopping could earn you cash instead of just costing you? You've been stuck in the cycle, tap, swipe, spend, watching your paycheck just disappear. But one day, after you stumbled onto this app called Rakuten, you ask yourself, why am I paying full price when I don't have to? But then you think, maybe it's just another gift. Then one of your friends tell you about this app called Rakuten, who makes them money and gives them cash back and rewards for thousands of stores every time they make a purchase that they were made anyway. You try it once, you discover hidden deals, compare prices, and you start winning. Shopping becomes a strategy. Every tap pays you back, and you still get what you want. You share Rakuten with your friends, watch your income grow, and become more financially confident. Download the Rakuten app today and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket.
But let's fast forward about 6 months, right? Now that raise is gone and the pressure's back on. The stress is so old familiar. We've been here before. And now we sitting there, we're thinking, why doesn't this feel any different than it felt 6 months ago? This isn't you being irresponsible. This is conditioning. We've been conditioned for this because nobody told us that lifestyle doesn't rise in big jumps. It creeps up slowly but surely, methodically, quietly, automatically, socially reinforced by our friends, our environment. And once that lifestyle begins to lock in and gets a hold of us, that income becomes a requirement to survive. It's no longer a tool. It's a trap. They gave us this income so we can get all these other bills, all this other stuff, and now we trapped in here. Not because of what they did, but because of what we did about our beliefs and our habits. So income itself is not freedom. No, not at all. So you may be like, oh man, Al, how are you going to say income is not freedom when you teach financial literacy and you're saying we need money to become free so we can buy back our time? Let me explain. Let me slow down just a little bit. Income is powerful, but it's also misunderstood. See, income solves short-term problems like bills, emergencies, comfort, even convenience. But income alone, it don't solve everything. I didn't say money, I said income, because income doesn't solve time freedom, stress independence, choice control, or resilience. Money can solve that if you use it right, but not income. And there's a difference between income and money. Money is what income is, but how you use it determines if you're going to have that time freedom, if you're going to have stress and independence, if you're going to have control of your choices, if you have the ability to be resilient. This is why a person can double their income and still feel like scared or fragile, like if something happened, they still can break or they still can be at a sense of poverty. Because income stops the pain like a Band-Aid or an Advil or Tylenol, but it just doesn't change the structure. Your bone is still broken. You still got that knife wound. You still got that broken leg, broken arm, whatever. That little Band-Aid or the Tylenol didn't do anything. It just made you not feel the pain. You call it morphine. You don't feel it happening, but it's happening to you. You don't feel the pain because you got so much dopamine release, but you're going through a lot of pain at that point in time. The structure of your leg is still broken. And structure is everything because, again, if that leg's broken, how you going to walk? I don't care if you don't feel the pain. How you going to walk? Here's a quote that a lot of people, they repeat it. I hear it over and over again, but they don't really unpack the quote. And it's a quote by like one of my great mentors is Warren Buffett, right? I look at Warren Buffett in the sense of investing as a mentor, right? He once said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Now, what does that mean? Ask yourself, what does that mean to you? If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. And we've seen people work until they die. I talked about this in the last episode. People will work from the time that they're able to work until the time they die. Some people work, they die on the job. They work until the last day and die on the job. Most people hear this quote and think that's just hustle talk. That's just trying to get you motivated. Oh no, it's far from that. It's the structural truth. And here's what they're really saying. They're saying income is linear. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, while wealth is exponential. So it's multiplied. So it's 1 times 3 is 3, 3 times 3 is 9, so forth and so on. So it grows exponentially. Income depends on your presence, while wealth doesn't. Wealth depends on the systems that we put in place for the income. Because income stops when you stop. When you stop working, you don't get a paycheck. But when your money works and you stop working, you still get a paycheck. Because wealth continues without your body, without your time working. And nobody explains the difference early enough for us to take advantage of that. Why is that? So what happens when they don't teach us that? We decide to chase income, thinking, oh man, if I just chase this money, get a better job, get a raise, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be bad. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be in the best position ever. I'm going to reach my freedom. You chasing income, and chasing income means you're chasing freedom, and freedom is a lot faster than you are. But the whole time while you're chasing income, you're not really chasing freedom. So we're chasing income thinking that we're chasing freedom. But the truth is, we're not. Let me give you a simple reframe for this, right? Something you can hold on to. Something you can visualize. The old definition of success was, how much do I make? We measured people off. If they made $100,000 a year, they made $500,000 a year, they made $1 million a year. This is how we measure people. This is how we measure success. Oh, they're a millionaire. Well, you know, there's some millionaires that's actually broke. They're struggling. Or they're a billionaire. We talk about Elon Musk and we talk about Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. We talk about how much do they make. And that's how we measure success. But the real definition of success is, how much control do we have? And when I say control, I mean control over our time, over our energy, over our decisions, over our responsibilities, or over our responses to emergencies, over our future options. A person that makes $60,000 with control is often a more freer person than a person that makes $160,000 without the control. Why? Because now, if you got $160,000 in debt and you making $160,000, those debtors are controlling you. Those bills are controlling you. You have to go to work. You got caught up in that trap. Well, a person that got $60,000 and have control and they don't have $60,000 in debt, or they don't have all these bad habits, they didn't get caught up in these inside threats, didn't attack them because they're financially literate, they have more control over their life. They have more control over their time, over their energy, their decisions. Emergencies don't put them in survival mode. They can control their future options as they come along. Because stress, it doesn't come from the different income levels. Stress actually comes from frugality. Stress actually comes from fragility, meaning how fragile are you? And fragility is what success myths actually create. Now, where did that lie show up in your life? Do you know? Let's make this thing personal. Sit with these questions. Don't rush them. Just sit with them. Ask yourself, has more of your income ever permanently reduced your stress? Have it? Have you made more money and it's like, oh man, that stress is gone. I don't never have to have this stress no more. Probably not. Did you get your lifestyle get better every time your paycheck did? Probably not. Were you taught how to convert income into assets or just spend responsibly? Let's think about this. Were you taught to buy assets or pay bills? Which one was it? Do you associate success with appearance or control? Do you see that person in a Honda Civic with no debt and look at them like, oh, that's just a normal person? But you see that person in that Lamborghini, that Ferrari, or that whatever Jaguar, whatever it may be, and you're like, oh man, they got it made. They got money. They successful. Maybe, maybe not. If your income stopped for 60 days, 3 months, what would break first? And there's no judgment here. I just want you to ask yourself, what would break first? I just want clarity, because clarity is power. And once you take that power, you put yourself in a whole nother level. So here's the mental shift that changes everything. Stop asking, how do I make more money? Just stop and start asking yourself, how do I convert what I make into freedom? That conversation is going to be a game changer. And it may look like something like assets that produce cash flow, skills that compound, systems that reduce your dependency on a job, or buffers that create a calm. See, you don't need to do everything at once, but when you do it right, you only need to do everything once. You just need to stop believing income alone is the goal. Income is good, don't get me wrong, but income alone is not going to get you to the finish line, and it never was going to. And once you understand that, you're going to be in a better place, better position in life, and on the route to financial freedom, and on the route to eliminate that inside threat that's been holding you back. Here's the thing about the lie that we were sold and never told, is that lie only works if we never question it. So today, we expose that lie. We showed it for the evil face and snake that it is. Not to shame you, but to set you free. You know how Moses freed the Israelites? We showed it to you so you can set you free. Because the moment you stop chasing income as a finish line, you'll start designing your life with intention and purpose. And with that being said, the next episode, we're going to expose the normal habits that quietly drain your wealth. Habits nobody ever questioned because everyone does them, including myself. I used to. I don't do them anymore, but I used to. And that's where things are going to get really uncomfortable. We're going to get really in our feelings. Some people are going to stop sharing. Some people they may even stop subscribing. They may not even like this anymore because, oh, well, he talking about me. And it's all right. We've all been in church or somewhere and we felt like that person was talking about us because internally we knew we had those issues. And this is going to get uncomfortable because this is going to identify some of those issues, and it's not to hurt you, but to help you. And that's where the real challenge actually begins. So in the next episode, we're going to expand into the normal habits that keep you broke. Because let's be honest, nobody wants to stay broke. And these inside threats, they're taking a toll on us. If this episode felt like it touched your soul and the words were speaking to you, I need you to do something for me. I need you to go ahead and subscribe, like, share, and comment something that really touched you and was really able to help you in this video. Or you know someone else that this may help, go ahead and send this video to them and do that one thing so we can help more people. We can spread the word and help more people, because the more people we have financially literate, the less people we have in poverty. So with that being said, let's go ahead and identify these insider threats so they'll no longer become threats and no longer become our enemies, because now we know how to fight them with confidence. So we can make money, make more money moves by making money move. You heard it here. So see you next time on Make Money Moves podcast, where we make money moves by making money moves. See you. Peace.
Pay to a check, yeah, I changed my mind from broke to boss.